Salut tout le monde! Welcome back! So today is officially the day after my birthday, so I hope that I am basking in the post-birthday love while you watch this video, even though today's video is not about love in France, but kind of the opposite. I've been with my French husband now for almost 9 years. So it is safe to say that during those 9 years, we've kind of learned how to compromise a bit on some of the personality aspects or cultural aspects that cause a bit of friction in our couple. But guys, I can admit there are some American things that I cannot just seem to shake. They are so ingrained in me that even when Robin tells me that it drives him nuts, I still can't seem to not do it. So today I'm going to share with you the 5 things that still really drive Robin nuts, the American things about me. So I can't wait to hear in the comments below what you guys think, if you can relate, what your pet peeves are. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it already. And otherwise, c'est parti! Number 1, listen. I completely understand that the metric system makes way more sense than whatever system it is that we have in the US that I cannot even remember its name, that is so obscure, that nobody else in the world uses, and that is literally not logical in the way that it was set up. Okay, I get it. I'm not trying to defend it. All I'm saying is after 11 years in France, I have not embraced 100% the metric system. I'm not fully committed. I'm not all hands on deck, all on board. Is there anyone else in the same boat as me? I translate recipes from grams to cups. I'll tend to change the scale from kilograms to pounds, and then I'll forget to change it back. And then I've got Robin shouting that the scale's broken, and I'm like, oh no, honey, that's your weight in pounds. It's not broken. And our most recent explosion was the Google Home. Of course, I naturally set the Google Home up, and I set it up in American English. So not only does Robin have a little bit of a problem communicating with it, with his accent, because it doesn't tend to really understand him, but on top of it, every time he asks for the weather, it gives the weather in Fahrenheit. So then Robin has to take out his phone, he has to do the calculations, he has to find out what it is in Celsius, and that's only when the Google Home 1 out of 10 times actually understands what he's asking for. So he gets really frustrated because, being very logical, he says, the metric system makes way more sense on whatever it is that you're doing. Change the Google Home, like, stop changing the scale, and just get on board. I get what he's saying, but I am still on the struggle bus. Anyone else? To be fair to Robin, if I were to put the Google Home into French, I don't think with my accent that it would be able to understand me either. Because I still have a very thick accent when I speak French. If you out there are also on the struggle bus like Robin and I about accents, then Lingoda might be the perfect opportunity for you. If you don't know Lingoda, they are the #1 online learning language school. And they have these very intense courses called sprints. Basically, you challenge yourself to either take 15 classes a month or 30 classes a month for 2 months. If you attend all of the classes that you committed to at the beginning, you either get 50% cash back or 100% cash back. You already have the flexibility of taking 24/7 online classes. You can take classes wherever you want. And now Lingoda, who already has a curriculum that's built with certified native speaking language teachers, now you don't have to follow the order of the classes. You can actually be flexible, and you can choose what order you want based on your own personal interests, based on the skills that you want to acquire. AKA, if you're on the pronunciation struggle bus, you might want to start with pronunciation. It gives you so much room for flexibility in your language learning journey. I personally, if you guys know any of my backstory about learning French, I had a lot of problems committing and really starting to learn. I think I started over like 3 different times before I really found something that worked for me. And what's great about the sprints is over 40,000 people have already participated in a Lingoda sprint. And there's 2 main reasons why. The first one being that you see results really quickly in a short amount of time because you're committed to going on a regular basis. And then the second one is because you get cash back if you complete it. So I mean, who doesn't love a deal? Check out more information in the YouTube description. I even have a discount code that gets you 20 euros off your sign up for the deposit. So that could be really interesting. If this has piqued your interest, go check everything out in the YouTube description below. Now let's get back to all the American things I do that irk off Robin. Okay, so this is a major tiff every time we go to the movie theaters. Like a good American, when I go to the movie theaters, I enjoy a Slurpee. I like, some Milk Duds. I want some good old buttery popcorn, or if I'm feeling like I really need something big, maybe some nachos or a slice of pizza. Robin cannot stand it when I eat next to him in a theater. He says that the chewing's too loud. He says that I'm bothering him. He feels like you should watch movies in silence. Okay. I completely agree that someone eating loudly next to me can and should be very annoying. However, first, I make an effort not to eat loud because I know it bothers him. And second, I just feel like eating is part of the movie theater experience. Like, if you don't want someone eating, then maybe you shouldn't go to the cinema. Yes, I understand in France, you can't buy a Slurpee, you definitely can't get nachos, and the pizza's not happening in the majority of theaters over here. But you absolutely can buy drinks, you absolutely can buy candy, you absolutely can buy popcorn. So to me, even if it's not as big of a part of the movie theater experience in France, I do feel like you should be a little bit used to it. So sometimes I wonder, is this a Robin thing or is this a French thing? So you have to let me know in the comments below, but the feedback I've been getting is this is quite French. I have a bit of an issue with air conditioning and heating. I blame this on my American childhood, okay? But where I grew up, I'm very used to like extreme differences in temperature. So for example, in Chicago, it's freezing in winter. And so of course the house is like very heated during winter. And so to the point where when I was growing up, I really could comfortably be in the house in winter in like shorts and a t-shirt walking around. And then in summer, it is uncomfortably hot where I come from in summer too. It's muggy, your hair is crazy, everybody's sweating, it's really hot. So inside, blasting ice cold air. So you just have 2 very different extreme temperatures, and I'm used to going back and forth between them. Well, Robin is not used to these changes, nor does he appreciate these changes. Now, let's be real, I don't have air conditioning in France. Lol. So that's not really a problem during summer, but we do tend to have problems in winter. And honestly, I am much more on top of the saving our planet, let's not be wasteful. I grew up in like consumer, buy, United States, and we don't necessarily need to do that in Europe either. But I just tend to be more comfortable in something that's a bit warmer. And Robin tends to feel like I create a sauna, as he calls it, in our house when he's not here. So he's constantly coming back home and walking in the door and he's like, Kate, like, you turn the heat up again. I have to get like into my underwear. I'm so hot. And I'm like, okay, it is not that hot in here. And while I don't want to be wasteful at some point, like, I don't know that I should be shivering inside of my own house, like when we're supposed to be, heating the house. So we tend to have quite a bit of tension about this. I'm curious if any of you guys out there that are maybe American and grew up in more of a home that was a bit more wasteful and now you're trying to, do things a bit differently, if you have this as well. And we also like turn our heat off at night, which is not something that I did before either, that I'm aware of. Maybe my parents are gonna watch this video and be like, yes, we did. But I don't remember, and so like I wake up in the morning freezing when I get out of bed and go turn the heat on. So that also feels like something a little bit new for me. But interested to see what you guys think about this one, because it's definitely a point of tension during winter in some points. To be fair, for number 4, I have gotten so much better about this over my 11 years. I can pick out American in the crowd just by the sound of their booming voice. It doesn't even matter the language, because Americans talk so loud. And I've really mentioned this before in other culture shock videos, and it's always funny because people constantly tell me that the Italy is kind of like the America of Europe, and that if I went to Italy, nobody would think that I was talking loud. But yes, we do talk very loud, and I've learned just, I mean, it's not even learning, I've just subconsciously have lowered my voice when I talk outside of my house. So I'm very conscious when I'm in the metro when Americans are shouting next to me that it's loud, or when I'm in a restaurant that's like quite quiet, and then I've got, I don't know, someone visiting from the States, and they're just, I can tell, bothering the people next to us with how loud their voice is. I'm very aware of that. But I am less aware inside of my home, apparently, and Robin is constantly being like, mais tu cries, en fait. Like, you're screaming. Do you realize? And it happens a lot when I am FaceTiming, like friends back home, like other Americans. Apparently I hold like my phone up and just like scream at the other person. And it happens a lot too when I'm working from home. So we both work from home together, and I'm on Teams, like, on Teams or on Zoom or whatever with my, with my colleagues. Robin's constantly telling me like, oh my gosh, you're being American again. Like, lower your voice. You do not need to scream at your computer speakers. And I just naturally want to talk louder. I don't know. And I feel like it's a very hard habit to break. Like, tell me that this is just normal, and somebody is just going to have to accept that I have lowered my volume in public, but when I'm in my own comfortable home, sometimes I just feel like talking loud, right? And finally, my love-hate relationship with stick shift cars. As most of you probably know, growing up in the US, you had to like pay more to drive a stick shift. You had to go and try to find a stick shift. We are, I don't know, I'm throwing a stat out there because I don't remember the stat, but what, 80%, 90% of cars on the road are automatic cars in the US. And so when I came to France, I had my license, and I come from a state where I could exchange my license for a French one without taking any driving classes. So I have a French driver's license, but I can't drive stick very well. So when Rob and I first met, I tried really hard, like I took driving classes. I even paid to like do the driving test on the roads as well. I practiced with a lot of different people, and I learned how to drive stick. And to be fair, I could, if there was somebody chasing me, like get away in a stick. I know how it functions, but I'm not super comfortable with a stick. And so often when we rent cars and we're going places, well, I pay twice as much to make sure we have an automatic car in Europe. I mean, I do. And it drives Robin nuts because he feels like we're paying more expensive, we're paying more money, just because I haven't like taken more time to do more classes and to be more comfortable in a stick shift with my French license. However, in my defense, everybody, we live in Paris, we don't have a car. Like, how are you supposed to be that comfortable with a stick shift and that comfortable driving in traffic in Paris specifically, but in France in general, if you just like never really do it anyways? Like, I don't know, the 8 times a year that we rent a car, am I really gonna get like super comfortable? I don't think so. So I feel like he needs to relax about this one, but it's very much linked to the fact that we just don't have stick shifts in the US, so that's not how I grew up driving. All right, guys, so those are the 5 American things that I do that still drive Robin absolutely crazy. I can't wait to hear in the comments below if you guys can relate, what you think he needs to get over, what you think I should probably work on, any of your pet peeves. Do not forget about Lingoda. If anything that I talked to you about the sprint courses interests you, everything is in the YouTube description below, and you get that discount off for your deposit. So please check that out. Hope everybody is doing well, and I will see you la semaine prochaine. Bisous!